Using fieldstone mined from local plots, a classic one-room schoolhouse was built in 1861 in the small town of Belwood, Ontario. The location was chosen for a variety of reasons, including availability of fresh water in the nearby Belwood Lake, being positioned at the top of a hill, and fronting on a well-traveled road. Schools at the time were named by location, so this one was given the title School Section Number 7. The schoolhouse served children of all ages and taught lessons from grades 1 through grade 8. The building featured separate girls' and boys' entrances, as was common in that time period. The school reached capacity and demand increased year after year, so a matching fieldstone addition was put on in 1873, doubling the amount of educational space. The addition became the seniors' classrooms, which were grades 6 through 8. In the 1960s, the provincial government reduced the education budget and rural schools were forced to amalgamate, leaving several buildings to be deemed surplus. The Belwood Schoolhouse was one of those surplus buildings and held its last class in 1966. The building was then renovated and converted to a weaving seminary, which is a boarding school where they teach weaving. Approximately 10 students lived on site during that time. The weaving seminary lasted a couple of years before shutting down, leaving the building temporarily vacant before a local couple purchased it with dreams of converting it to a restaurant. Major interior renovations took place, converting the basement into a bar/lounge and the former classrooms into dining rooms. An addition was put on the side of the building to house an industrial kitchen. The original portion from 1861 was converted into a ballroom and divided into 2 floors. The second story was added to create a small inn with a few private rooms. By 1990, the Belwood Schoolhouse was a widely successful, highly reviewed restaurant, dubbed the most romantic dinner location by local food critics. The business ran under the title The Schoolhouse Restaurant, Educated Dining for a decade or so. The restaurant was forced to close in 2001. That was the last time the building held a legal tenant because shortly after the closure, a report came out detailing critical levels of pollution in the ground surrounding the property. The pollution was caused by the Shell Canada gas station directly north of the schoolhouse having an underground leak. Shell Canada was forced to demolish the gas station and began remediation efforts. They also purchased any affected lots, including the Belwood Schoolhouse. The soil was remediated, but the building was left boarded up and sat vacant for over a decade. In an effort to recoup some of their costs, the lot was severed, leaving the school building sitting on just 0.8 acres of land, a fraction of its original lot size. The site was listed as a potential heritage asset in 2012. After multiple years of remediation, the soil finally tested within acceptable limits in 2014. The site was then put up for sale, and in 2016, Shell Canada sold the site to Kevin Trudeau, who owns Trudeau Developments. The kitchen addition was demolished, but no further proposals were made for the site, leaving it vacant for several more years. Local heritage advocates began to get worried, forming a volunteer group to push for heritage designation. An application for designation was made in 2016, but upon a site visit by city staff, some minor structural concerns were found, including holes in the roof, water damage, and broken windows and doors. The proposal was delayed while the owner was informed of his responsibility to repair the damages or apply for demolition. In February of 2020, a demolition permit was requested by Trudeau Developments for the schoolhouse. They cited soil toxicity and a desire to excavate under the building to facilitate redevelopment. The ACO, or the Architectural Conservatory of Ontario, requested a proper heritage assessment be done first. The building was found to meet all 3 standards they look for when designating heritage assets, including design and materials, historical, and contextual value. The building was granted official heritage designation in March of 2020, effectively preventing its demolition. At some point, the building was gutted down to the studs, the windows were replaced, and the roof repaired. The heritage designation only applies to the exterior of the building, so the interior can be remodeled entirely. The rotunda is not part of the designation. The schoolhouse and the lot it sits on have been placed on the market several times, most recently in 2021. At the time of writing this article and making this video, the building and the 0.89 acres it sits on are listed with red brick real estate for $629,000.